Now we will move to our next topic. This is mitochondria. It has two membranes. First membrane, outer membrane is porous, and second membrane, inner membrane, which is deeply folded, also called cistern. And its main function is to give energy. It takes energy from the food by the oxidation, in which they break down the food by enzymes and oxygen to make energy, which is called ATP, and which is used by our body. It is also the powerhouse of the cell, and it also has its own DNA and lysosomes. It is also the powerhouse of the cell, and it also has its own DNA and lysosomes.
Good morning, dear students. Welcome to home learning classes of Vedant Sir. Today we will discuss about chapter number 13 of SS, that is India's location, geographical structure and physiography. Imagine, dear students, that this is a globe. What if I cut the globe vertically? In which direction will India lie? Yes, that's correct. India will lie in Eastern Hemisphere. If I cut the globe horizontally, India will lie in the Northern Hemisphere. So let's learn this through a map. Dear students, do you know what is the total area of India? It is 32.8 lakh square kilometers. India also holds 7th rank, which means there are other 6 countries bigger than India. You may remember them as backrug. As we have discussed earlier, that India lies in northeastern hemisphere. So from the equator, the equator is at 0 degree. This is Kanyakumari. From equator to Kanyakumari, it is 8.4 degrees north latitude. And at Jammu and Kashmir, here, it is 37.6 degrees north latitude. From Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, at Gujarat, it is 68.7 degrees east longitude. At Arunachal Pradesh, it is 97.25 degrees east longitude. The total distance between Jammu and Kashmir and Kanyakumari, it is 3,214 kilometers. The distance from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh is 2,933 kilometers. India has 2 archipelagos, Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep. India is a peninsula. It is surrounded by 3 waterways: Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean and Arabian Sea. The southernmost tip of India is Indira Point, which is situated in Andaman and Nicobar Island. When the sun rises in Arunachal Pradesh, there is still darkness in Gujarat. Why? Because it is a vast distance. So the sunlight is unable to come in Gujarat. If we want to find Indian Standard Time, we have to join Gujarat and Arunachal Pradesh. The line which we get after joining them, it is Indian Standard Time. It is situated at 82.30 degrees east longitude. India has 29 states, 1 national territory, 6 union territories. India has other neighboring countries too, like Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka. With the opening of Suez Canal, it reduced 7,000 kilometers between Europe and India. India has strategic location because it is three-sided water. Tropic of Cancer passes from the middle of India, which it is at 23.5 degrees north latitude, which divides India in two parts, 30 degree and 30 degrees. Here we find a triangular shape, which is a peninsular area. Here we find another triangular shape, which is also another triangle. So, the India has strategic location. I'm sure that you have understood it very nicely. If you have any doubts, feel free to call me. The things which we discussed today are your homework. The things I have shown to you, you have to show it in a map. Until then, bye-bye.
Happy Teachers Day. My name is Lok Singh Negi. Today I teach you maths, subject trigonometry. First we understand what is trigonometry. Trigonometry is a divided in Greek word. First, what is trigono? Trigono means a triangle. And what is metry? Metry means a measure. When we got in triangle in side, got a angle. When we got a side, when we got a angle. Let's take one example. What is example? Find 10p minus quarter. This is a one angle. This is a right angle. This is a right angle and this is a hypotenuse. First we take one formula, that is P, B, P, H, H, B. That is perpendicular, base, perpendicular, base, perpendicular, base. Then in Hindi, that is called Pandit Badri Prasad Har Har Bole. That is a formula. P is sine, H is cosec, B is sec, P is tan, B is cot. This is the formula. And sin theta formula is PH, cos theta formula is BH, tan theta formula is PB, cosec theta formula is HP, sec theta formula is HB, cot theta formula is BP. Now, for solve the question, theta, 10p is our theta. When the theta opposite side is perpendicular. Now then QR is our perpendicular and PQ is our base and PR is our hypotenuse. Now start. Now 10p is our P by B. P by B is equal to 10. P is 10. What is our perpendicular? Perpendicular is Q and R. QR is our perpendicular. And what is base? Base is our P and Q. Base is our P and Q. But we do not know what is QR. QS do not know, but we know PQ. First, we can take a Pythagoras theorem. By Pythagoras. What is a by Pythagoras theorem? Pythagoras theorem is x square is equal to p square plus b square. What is h? H is hypotenuse. What is p? P is perpendicular. And what is base? Base is QR. What is h? H is hypotenuse. What is 13? 13 whole square is equal to what is perpendicular? Perpendicular is p by q. B is 12. B is 12 plus b. What is base? Base do not know. Then write this only. What is 13 square? 13 square 169. And what is 12 square? 12 square is 144 plus b square. Then I cannot do 144 plus b square. Then I can shift 144 to here. 169. In there is plus. Coming this side is 1 minus. 144 is equal to b square. 169. 169 minus 144 is 25 is equal to b square. Then here is square. Here is square. Coming to here is square root. Square root is 25 is equal to 5. Then 5 is equal to b. Now we know that base is equal to 5. Now right here, yes, QR is a base. Now the base is equal to 5. What is QR? Now what we get? QR. QR is 5. What is perpendicular? Perpendicular is our 12. Now 10p is equal to 5 by 12 is known. And what is quarter? Quarter. Now theta is going to here. What is R? When theta is theta opposite is perpendicular. Now perpendicular is P by Q and base is Q by R. Q by R. What is quarter? Quarter is B by P. What is base? Base is 5. And what is perpendicular? Perpendicular is 12. Perpendicular is 12. 10p minus quarter. 10p minus quarter. Now we want to do 10p is equal to 5 by 12 and quarter is equal to 5 by 12. Now we go to minus 5 by 12 minus 5 by 12 is equal to 0. Thank you for watching my video. Happy Teachers Day.
Good morning. I am Neil Patel. IB Patel English School 10B. Today I will teach you about English subject. His first flight. The young seagull was alone on his land. His two brothers and sisters had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempt to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. The young seagull was sitting the ledge of a hill. His two brothers and sisters had already flown away the day before. Means his two brothers and sisters had already flown with their parents from their hills. He had been afraid to fly with them. The little seagull had afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the ledge and attempt to flap his wings, he became afraid. The little seagull has become afraid. That's why he can't fly. Somehow, when he taken a little run forward to fly from the hill to sea, he he became afraid. The great expanse of a sea stretched down beyond, and it was such a long way down, when miles down.
Good morning everybody, myself Shriya Shah, and today I will be explaining you first three stanzas of poem No Manner Foreign, written by James Pickup of Standard 9 English. So before explaining you the poem, I would like to give a small introduction on it. So in the poem, the poet tells us that the division based on caste, creed, color, religion, nation, etc. are baseless since we all are similar in basic need of common resource. In God's eyes, we are similar and equal. God doesn't differentiate between any one of us. So it's our duty to make God happy. For that, we have to create a brotherhood. We have to live together and we have to live peacefully. So now let's begin with explanation. Remember, no man are strange, countries foreign, beneath all uniforms a single body breathes. Like ours, the land our brother walk upon is earth like this, in which we all shall lie. So in the first stanza, poet says us that no one is stranger to each other and no countries are foreign. We know that we have different clothing style, we have different traditional clothes. Even in India, even each state has its different traditional clothes. But does it matter if under this clothes a single body breathes? That is, we all have same body which breathes, and we all walk upon the same land. We all live and die on the same earth, and we all are buried under the same earth. So it doesn't matter what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of things you do. Moving on to second stanza. They too, aware of sun and air and water, are fed by peaceful harvest, by birds' long winter start. Their hands are like ours, and in their lines we read a labor not different from our own. So in the second stanza, poet says that we all need the sun, air and water, and importance of them are equal to us. We all have seen the times where we are enjoying and living our peaceful life with family members, and we are enjoying with them, we are living together and a happy life. But we also have seen the times where we have to starve for food, a long starve for food during long winters and in the war times. It wasn't easy, and in that case, in that condition, no one is bigger or smaller. A poet also says that we have hands common, like we have the same hands, which work hard for their respective livelihood, which work hard for their family members, which work hard for themselves. And the lines in the palm of her hand are also the same. Remember, no work is bigger or smaller. Moving on to third stanza. Remember, they have eyes like ours that wake or sleep, and strength that can be won by love in every land is common life. That's all can recognize and understand. In third stanza, poet says us that we have to remember that we all have same eyes which wakes or sleeps, and we all have that strength that can be won by love. So war and fighting is not the solution to find love, to find peace. Love is only the solution. And poet also says that in this land, on this earth, everyone life is common. Everyone live a common life. So in the above mentioned things are what can be recognized and understood by the poet. So we all have to do that too. Keep loving people, keep spreading love. Bye bye. Thank you.
Good morning everyone. So today myself Krishi Patel, I am going to teach you English, and today we are going to learn a poem written by Walt Whitman named Animals. So let us start. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. So, here, in this poem Animal, the poet phrases animals for being better than human and for possessing all such qualities that humans lack and have forgotten. Poet desires to turn into an animal and live with them as he is impressed by their calmness and purity of mind. Unlike humans, animals seem so contained with their lives and are happy with their natural surrounding. They are that self-controlled and maintained by their rationality that the poet can look at them long and long. He can't get bored by looking at them. So let us read ahead in second stanza. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. So here, first of all, whine. Whine means to complain about something in crying voice. And weep means to cry. And sins means any wrong action. That means sin. So now let us discuss what is given in second stanza. So here the poet is happy with the fact that animals do not make complaints and cry about their conditions like human. They eat and sleep peacefully as they have nothing to worry about. While humans, because of their wrong actions and sins, they are unable to do so and they thus cannot sleep without worrying about them. Here poet also exclaimed that animals are so pure-hearted that they do not need to pray to God for forgiveness or ask to God to fulfill their desires like human, while human always used to pray to God for something. Now let us read the third paragraph. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So, here the demented word is used, which means mad or having mental illness. Kneels means to bend down on their knees, and mania means great enthusiasm for something. So here, in this stanza, poet says that animals do not possess this material thing. They are satisfied with what they have. They are not mad like humans for owning things. They do not need to bend down to someone for getting something. Then, poet also says that they are so kind that they can live for thousands of years. And here, not one respectable. This means that since all of them are equal, there is no question of respect to some and insult to others, as humans used to do, that we will. All these features of animals never make them unhappy. So let us move ahead in the fourth and the last stanza of our poem. So they show their relation to me and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their possession. I wonder where they get those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them? So here, this means that the poet feels that animals represent humans being in some way. This means that animals seems to have what humans once had, like self-contentment, innocence, virtues, etc. Here poet believed that somewhere human dropped these virtues a long time ago and have forgotten them. So they need to remember their virtues. So here our poems end. Now let us go through once all the new words. Placid, not easily upset or excited. Whine, to complain about something in crying voice. Weep, to cry. Sins and wrong decision or an action. Demented, mad or have a mental illness, kneels bent down on knees. Mania, great enthusiasm for something, events to indicate or reveal the presence. So here our poem ends. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good morning to all my dearest friends and honorable teachers. We all know that Teachers' Day is on 5th September, and to talk about that topic, we should all be thankful for our teachers who are making such an effort to make our minds still working in this boring lockdown. So let's start the video. Today we are going to talk about subject social science, and our today's topic is effects of First World War. We all know that world wars are counted into one of the most disastrous events took place since. The damage of mankind, wealth, arising disputes and getting into a new world are some of the effects that we should talk about. During this First World War, many people were directly affected. Now we will see about the effects after the First World War which are mentioned in our textbooks. Destruction of man and material. You can all see into the image which is showing the dead bodies of men during the First World War. A total of 1 crore people lost their lives. About 2 crore people got severe injuries and 70 lakhs people were permanently handicapped. The war expenditure was horrible too. Thus we can say that World War's biggest loss was of the mankind and wealth. Second, social science. After you can see women demanding for their rights, as the majority of the army was men who were only from the family who were earning something. Thus to make their families survive, the women stepped out from their houses and overtook the challenge. This made them confident and to be known with their own rights. During the war, the full focus was on the war expenditure, thus the production of necessary material was less. So this made many lockouts and strikes into many areas. This was an important event after the Third, Treaty of Versailles. This was an important event after First World War. This Treaty of Versailles was happened in Paris, France. After the war, Germany was held responsible. Thus, the Allied nation to maintain peace made this treaty agree to Germany on gunpoint. The things which it stated are as follows. A war fine of 6.5 billion pounds. My friends, you all know that this much money is terrifying. And the second, to give Ruhr region, Alsace and Lorraine provinces back to France. My friends, do you know that Germany has captured Ruhr region, Alsace and Lorraine from the France, and thus into this treaty it was been stated that Germany have to give it back to the France. Rhine River declared as international sea route. Rhineland to France for 15 years. This Rhineland was very rich of minerals and etc. This treaty was known as Paris Peace Process, but after this nothing was with peace. And here is the photo of Kaiser Wilhelm, who was the Emperor of Germany at the time of First World War. The last one, long-term effects. Due to this treaty, Germans were arising a violent feeling of revenge. This treaty was to maintain peace, but it couldn't last more. League of Nations, which was made to solve all international disputes, was also failed in this. The Russia was not given place in League of Nations and America did not participate. Thus, the Second World War started. And you can see the image of German soldiers who are getting ready for their war. Thank you, my friends. This is all over for today.
Friends, respected teachers and respected principal sir. Today I am going to teach you the science chapter number 1,
and my name is Parma Parath Rajesh Bhai. I am in 9th A and Teachers Day is celebrated because of Dr. Saurabhai Radhakrishan's birthday. Chapter number 1, Matter in our surroundings. As we look at our surroundings, we see a large variety of things with different shapes, sizes and textures. Everything in this universe is made up of material which scientists have named matter. The air we breathe, the food we eat, stones, clouds, stars, plants and animals, even a small drop of water or a particle of sand, everything is matter. We can also see as we look around that all the things mentioned above occupy space and have mass. In other words, they have both mass and volume. Since early times, human beings have been trying to understand their surroundings. Early Indian philosophers classified matter in the form of 5 basic elements: the Panch Tattva, air, earth, fire, sky, and water. According to them, everything living or non-living was made of these 5 basic elements. Ancient Greek philosophers had arrived at a similar classification of matter. Modern day scientists have evolved 2 types of classification of matter based on their physical properties and chemical nature. In this chapter, we shall learn about the matter based on its physical properties. Chemical aspects of matter will be taken up in subsequent chapters. Now, 1.1 Physical nature of matter. Matter is made up of particles. For a long time, 2 schools of thought prevailed regarding the nature of matter. One school believed matter to be continuous like a block of wood, whereas the other thought that matter was made up of particles like sand. Let us perform an activity to decide about the nature of matter. Is it continuous or particular? Now, activity 1.1. Take a 100 ml beaker. Fill half the beaker with water and mark the level of water. Dissolve some salt or sugar with the help of a glass roll. Observe any change in the water level. What do you think has happened to the salt? Where does it disappear? Does the level of water change? In order to answer this question, we need to use the idea that matter is made up of particles. What was there in the spoon? Salt or sugar? Now, 1.1.2. How small
All, my name is Vishwa Vai Patel and I am from Standard 9. Today I have become science teacher. I will teach chapter number 14 of science, natural resources. There are 3 main natural resources: the land, the air and the water. First we will talk about the air. So the blanket around the earth means like this. This blanket of air around the earth is called atmosphere. It consists of many gases and dust particles. Gases like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide and many other gases plus dust particles also. Oxygen is about 21%, nitrogen 78% and carbon dioxide we can say is 0.03%. Now we'll talk about the land. So we know that on earth mostly 75% of water is there and land is, we can say, small parts of land are there. So the outermost layer of the crust of the earth, we can say crust also. So it is called lithosphere. Now we will talk about water. I have explained that the earth has 75% of water in which aquatic animals live. So that 75% of water is called hydrosphere. Now when these 3 means atmosphere, lithosphere and hydrosphere, when these 3 interact with each other, when these 3 interact with each other, It is known as biosphere. It is known as biosphere, and also when these three interact, it makes the life possible. We cannot live without air, land and water. Now we will talk about biosphere. So biosphere contains two types. That is abiotic and biotic. Abiotic contains all the non-living things, and biotic means living things. So these three means the air, land and water comes in abiotic, that is non-living. Biotic comes animals, plants, human beings comes in biotic components. Now we will talk about the breath of life, that is air. I have already told that air consists of many gases like nitrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen, water vapor and many things. Dust particles also. Now it is interesting to know that Earth is only a planet where life is possible. In other planets such as Venus and Mars, there we cannot live and there is no consistency of life. For having life on a planet, there must be atmosphere. And in Venus and Mars, atmosphere is found of carbon dioxide. And almostly carbon dioxide is 95% to 97% in the atmosphere. Now we will talk about eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. Eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells, they also need oxygen. Now why do they need oxygen? To break down the glucose molecule which is present and to do their activities. Now when this formation is going on to break down the glucose molecules and to do their activities, it results in carbon dioxide.
I am Yug Kalpesh Kumar Patel from Standard 9th B. My roll number is 43. Today I am going to teach you subject English poem number 2 Wind. So let's start. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. I'm sorry, I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other just as fair and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no steps had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for the another day, yet knowing how way leads to on the other way. I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by. And that has made all the difference. This poem was written by Robert Frost. So guys, now I'm going to teach you glossary. First number is diverged. Separated and took different directions. Diverged means a point from which two roads diverged or take another directions. Undergrowth, dense growth of plants and bushes. Undergrowth means unnecessary growth of plants and bushes. Wanted wear, had not been used. Wanted wear means the thing that we hadn't used. Hence, here in the future. Hence means in this poem, it means that in the future. Now I am going to teach you summary. A path or a road stands for a choice in life. A path or a road stands for a choice in life, a career, or a decision. It means that a path means a choice. Choice comes only one time in our life. So there it comes that we should take which choice, and it is right or wrong. The poet says that he came across two paths. I told you that two paths means two choices at an important stage of his life, and he knew that he had to decide to take one. Means the poet had known that he had to take only one path or one choice. As he was just one traveler, means he was only one traveler. He could not have taken both the roads at one time. As he was one traveler, so he could not take both the roads at one time. Even if he wanted to so, he had to make a choice. Even if he wanted to do that, but he can't because he is only one traveler. He chose the second road, which was less traveled and which was grassy and wanted wear. He chose the second road, which was less travelled and grassy and wear and wanted wear. He kept other path for another time. He decided that if I would come on this path another time, so I will take the first path. His decision was influenced by his mind. His decision was influenced means his decision was influenced by his mind means he was his mind was strongly telling him that this decision is right, which wanted him to achieve his dreams and goals. That decision wanted him to achieve his goals and dreams. He didn't mind facing obstacles and hardships so that he could be a winner. He didn't mind that if I would go on this path, so there will come so many obstacles and I will lose that and all that. But instead of that, he told that I will go on that road and I will face all the obstacles which will come on my road. Later he realized that if he wanted, he could change the paths, but he doubted if he would ever do that. Later he realized that there is even now opportunity to change the path. But then he doubted that if I would change the path right now, I would not be confident and my decision may be wrong also. As time passed, the poet finds that life has not been easy. As time passed, the poet finds that the life has not been easy. But his mind was clear that he wanted to achieve that goal. So there comes many obstacles in his life, but he hadn't minded. And he has not been easy, but looking back, he feels that he has been successful because of the choice he made. But after some time, he realized that he was a successful man as he chose that path or that choice. Thanks. I am thanking you for giving me this opportunity to become a teacher. I am becoming teacher for the first time, and this is a really very good opportunity. Thank you.
Hello my dear friends, today I am going to teach you subject maths in which chapter number 5 arithmetic progression exercise 5.3 sum number 12 and 13. Before we start the sum, I can give you some easy tricks. There are 3 steps to solve the sum easily. Step 1, read the sum carefully. Step 2, try to understand the sum properly. And step 3, solve the sum correctly. So let's start with sum number 12. Find the sum of first 40 positive integers divisible by 6. First 40 positive integers. Okay. So which is divisible by 6? So 6, which is divisible by 6? It is A1. Then after A2, what is A2? 6 2s are 12. That is our A2. Then after 24 is our A3 and so on. And what is our A40? Then what is our A40? So 40 into 6. How many? 240. So it is our A40. Okay. So what is our A is equal to 6. Then after D. What is D? How we find D? So A2 minus A1. What is A2? 12. A1 6. That is our 6. Matlab D is our 6. and we have to find sum of 40 positive means S40. So what is our Sn? We know the formula of Sn, n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, so in place of n we can write 40. 40 by 2, 2. What is our a? 6. Then what is our n? 40 minus 1. And what is our d? 6. So 40 divided by 2, 20. 2 6 are 12 plus 40 minus 3 9. Okay, and 6. So 20 into 12 plus 39 into 6, how many? So our 39 into 6, what we get? 234. Then 12 plus 234, how many? Sorry, 6, 4, 246, and now we multiply 20 into 246. Sorry. Okay, so our S40 is 4920. Okay, so now let's forward to the sum number 13. Find the sum of the first 15 multiples of 8. First 15 multiples of 8. The 13th sum is as it is 12 sum. So let's forward. Then after, what is the 15 multiples of 8? So our 8, then after 16, then after 24, and so on up to 15. So our 15 is a 15 into 8, what we get? 120. So A15 A15 is our 120. This is A3, A2 and A1. Now what is our A? A is our 8. What is our D? 16 minus 8. How many? 8. Okay, so D is equal to 8. Okay, now as it is sum of n terms, n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, so as in the place of n, we get n is equal to 15 we get. So 15 by 2, 2 into 8, 8 plus 15 minus 1, what is our d? 8. Okay, so 2 is not divisible by 15, so as it is we can write. Then 2 is a 16, 15 minus 1, 14 into 8. So 14 into 8 is equal to, we get 112. So 15 by 2 we can write as it is. 16 plus what we get? 112. Okay. Now 15 plus divided by 2. What we get? 16 plus 112. So we get 128. Okay. So we cut 2 by what we get? 64. Okay. 15 into 64. Okay. So 64 into 15 we get 960. So 960 is our S15. Okay, so here our two sums is completely over. So I hope you are understand it properly. Thank you guys.